Hello everybody and welcome back to the Albion News and Gaming channel and to the fourth episode of the Albion This Week podcast. Before we get into this podcast, I'd just like to ask you to subscribe and try to reach 50 subscribers by the end of the year. We're up to 38 now, so we've just got 12 more to go. Thank you if you've subscribed already, it means a lot to me. And I hope you're enjoying the Albion This Week podcast. This is the fourth podcast. We've got a month of we've done this for almost a month now. And we've got a bit of news to talk about. So the first bit of news I've got, I'm sorry if the sound quality is bad. I probably need to get a new mic. That might be sorted soon. It might not be sorted at all, but hopefully I get it done soon. So bear with me. I hope the sound quality probably should improve as the video goes on. I think it will anyway, but I could be wrong. It could be worse. It could sound like I'm in the middle of the hurricane, straight out of a Wizard of Oz, out of the end of this. Anyway, early this week, I think reports from the Telegraph reported that Troy Deeney could be considered as a target for West Bromwich Albion on loan for the season. Now, I've seen a few fans saying we should go for Troy Deeney when Watford got relegated, but this is actually a very reliable source that said it. Later on, Matt Maker has done an article that Massey thinks is probably true. So there's something in this one, is what I'm trying to say. Troy Deeney got 10 goals last season, but quite a few of them were penalties. I don't think this would be a bad striker to have in on loan to come off the bench. I think he's a bit better than Charlie Austin. I don't think Watford fans seem to rate him too highly though, so we'll see. This one could happen quite quickly though. I can see this. I can see this happening quite quickly. Another player that we've been linked with is Conor Gallagher. Now, Conor Gallagher was a player that I think we were very interested in signing on loan, but Chelsea wanted him to go to Swansea because they could guarantee him more games on loan. So I think Conor Gallagher would be I think that'd be a good signing to have in the Championship and to play a few games or just to be a backup for Sawyers. But if Sawyers doesn't play particularly well in the Premier League, then maybe we can try Conor Gallagher out. But they're both unproven, so we'll have to see. But I think Conor Gallagher would be a good signing. He's a good young player. I mean, I think this would be on loan. I think it would probably cost. I don't think Chelsea would want to let him go. But maybe we could have an option to buy. I don't know. We'll see. Conor Gallagher though, played for Swansea last season. I rated him. I think he played well. Okay, another player that we were linked with, and I think this came from Alan Nixon, was Kerpre, the Wigan defender. Had a very good game against us when we drew 1-1, was it? No, we lost 1-0 at the Whole Fund. We drew 1-1 earlier. Don't really remember him that game, but now Kerpre has been rumoured to come to the club for a fee of about £900,000. I mean, you can't go wrong. 23, 900k. Be a good signing. So, you've got contrasting reports from some saying that the deal's closed. Nixon's said that personal terms are yet to be done. But Massey said that we're going to go for him if Duffy leaves, if Duffy goes to Celtic. So, but it's a bit of a weird one because we're getting contrasting reports. We don't really know what's going on exactly with it, but I would personally like Shane Duffy to come in and Kerpre. Duffy's got that Premier League experience, but Kerpre's that young, quite up-and-coming centre-back from the Championship. I think both would be two really good signings. If we were to get both, and you probably see Hegazi or Bartley leave, probably maybe, I don't know, Ahmed Hegazi, because Bartley's kind of got more like leadership about him, but is probably a better Premier League player. Anyway, we'll see. Not my decision. Some big news, not just for West Brom, but for the Premier League, and that's Gareth Barry has retired. Probably one of the best centre defensive midfielders England has had in recent years. Of course, you have Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard also up there, but Gareth Barry's time at the club, it's not been a brilliant time really. I think in the Championship in our first season when we got relegated, Barry had quite a good. He played quite well. This season, he's done okay when he's played, but he's not been brilliant. When we got relegated, he was quite poor, really. Uh, and of course, there was the whole Taxigate saga. But I think he had an okay stint at the club. Now, in news that kind of has been and gone, it came out at the start of the week that Eberechi Eze could be a target. West Bromwich Albion put an instalment bid in of £4 million for 3 seasons, £4.5 million. That would come to 17 million. But the player Eberechi Eze chose Crystal Palace, probably because they're in London. Maybe they're a little bit more stable than us. So that's the second player that's chosen us over Palace this season, and if you include Andros Townsend in 2017, then quite a lot of players choose Palace over us. Not exactly sure why. We're quite similar clubs in kind of quality at the moment. Of course, we've got a better history. Now today we saw for Albion's first friendly and Forest's third game. What we saw as we played Forest basically. It was Forest first and they beat us 1-0. But you can never really worry about pre-season. Pre-season's never really important. And the only thing that kind of thinks is pre-season is you might get a youngster that starts to score goals. I mean, I remember Mason Greenwood at the pre-season last year. He scored a few goals for Manchester United. That kind of, I noticed, kind of a few people noticed him, me included. And he's gone on to have a good breakout season. Reminds me of Rashford, the way Rashford kind of broke out, kind of mid-season. You know, just plays and scores goals. Scores a few in the Europa League like Rashford did. Of course, Greenwood's more of a centre forward, I think, slash right mid, where Rashford's the striker that can play in the wing as well. So United have got some good young players as well as other players like Brandon Williams, and I'm sure they've got others as well. Garner, I think, is quite good. Greenwood on loan this season. If we could pull that off, oh my gosh, that'd be a good signing. But we're not being linked to this, and if we are, there's no reliable source saying it. Other news is that the Leicester and Chelsea game have been picked for Sky, and the Everton game has been picked for BT. I had a sneaking suspicion that we might be on Sky for our Leicester game because, of a newly promoted team in the first week is often on Sky. Phil of Tottenham was on Sky last season and the opening week, and Norwich and Liverpool was the first fixture of the season on a Friday night. I don't think Sheffield United versus Bournemouth was on Sky, but I could have been wrong. And that just about concludes the Albion This Week podcast. Still, this is our 4th podcast without a signing. Well, we had Potatoes forever, but without, a signing that wasn't with us last season, a signing that we weren't expecting. But I'm sure we'll get one, maybe even next week. In fact, I'm going to say we will get a signing by next week. We will. By the next week, Albion This Week podcast, there will be a new signing. I might use a new, I'm probably going to be using a new little channel logo, and tell me what you think of it in the description, the comment section. My Twitter might be in the description. I might be bothered if I remember to link it in there. If you don't, just search Albion News Gaming on Twitter. If you want to follow me, I mean, you probably don't. Please do. Please do. Follow me on Twitter. No, I'm joking. Anyway, see you in the next one. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this. See you in the next one. Goodbye. See you in the next one. May as well say it 3 times. Complete the hat trick. Goodbye.